Hello and welcome to another C# video tutorial challenge where we're going to ask you to practice with multi-dimensional arrays. So the user will input numbers into a grid, and I'm going to make the grid 4x4. I suggest when you're first building it, just do it a 2x2 so that when you're practicing, it goes a lot faster just for you to do it. So what I did is it says enter a number, and I entered the number 1, then I entered the 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And then as soon as I did that, it pumped out a grid, 4x4 grid, with all the numbers that the user entered, which was me. Take the challenge. Take at least 15 minutes to get this, to give it an honest effort. And if you get stumped or you finish, come back and check my code. All right, let's watch that again really quickly. If I click in here, it says enter a number. I'm just going to put in some numbers. And it kicks out our numbers with a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. So probably would have been better if I had an extra space in between. And I'll probably correct that when we're doing that right now, just to check it out. So here is our public static main void. I decided to start with an integer called width equals 4, semicolon, and an integer called height equals 4, semicolon. Then I established a multi-dimensional array that has 2 elements in it. So that's why I've got a comma in between. So int, square bracket, comma, square bracket. And I called it grid equals new int, square brackets, again with a semicolon on the end, but instead of putting in a number, I used my width and my height here. Then I've got a for loop here and a for loop here. So this for loop is for getting the data from the user, and this for loop is for printing it to the console. So the output. For int x is equal to 0, and x is less than width and x plus plus. Parentheses, and then we've got a nested for loop dealing with the y value. So int y is equal to 0, semicolon, y is less than the height, which was 4, and y plus plus. And then it says console.writeLine, enter number. And then grid, which we established up here, square bracket xy is equal to, and this is where I'm getting the data from the keyboard. So I'm going console.writeLine, but it's a number, so we've got to change it to an integer. So convert to int 32. And then we close the nested for loop, and then we close the for loop, and then we start our output section. So it looks pretty much exactly the same, except this part is different. And we're going to say console.write space bracket grid square bracket x comma y square bracket plus and space. And let's try putting 2 spaces there. Control S. Then you close the bracket, and then you have to have a console.writeLine after it. Entering our numbers here. And we've got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So it didn't work with regards to that. I have to play with that. It might be better with a tab. So that worked better with the tab to space them out, because then you don't run into different spaces because we're using different size numbers. So that was parentheses, and you don't need any spaces. This is the \t inside parentheses. And that is how you get user input in a for loop to output it into a grid using multi-dimensional arrays. Thanks for watching.